looking for an electric luxury family SUV? And this is where you stop looking, because we've got the pick of the segments of the EV family from 50 lakhs to a crore. But it's actually here where you stop looking. It's the Volvo XC40 Recharge. Launched in July 22, it's priced at 56.9 lakh rupees. It's the most compact and the fastest in this group. In fact, if you're self-driven and you pick Volvo owners at the top of your choice, this could be your bet. And the second pick up the price ladder at 77.5 lakh rupees is the EQB 350. Launched in December 22, this Merc is the most versatile of the lot. In fact, if you're driving around 6 kids, this could be the one because it's got a 5+2 seating layout as well. And finally, the Audi e-Tron 55, priced at 1.19 crore ex-showroom. This has to be the most comfortable of the lot, and the fact that it's got air suspension, it's great for being chauffeur-driven. Though this has been launched about 2 years back, it's long in the tooth, going to be replaced soon by the Q8 e-Tron, but the pick of the lot if you're looking for the all-round experience. The XC40 Recharge looks quite plain Jane to most eyes because it is an XC40 underneath the skin with just a blanked out front grille. The lights continue like the older version. Only thing that gives it away as a little squad SUV are those 19-inch alloy wheels. The EQB kind of looks like a mom van because of the way it is designed as a 7-seater. The body is really low. It doesn't come off as a full-fat SUV body style, but it is the most practical, and those wheels really look cool. The e-Tron has to have one of the most dominating presence in the e-SUV category, especially with those chiseled front looks, the large haunches and those 20-inch alloy wheels, which kind of like, those proportions just come together so well. Even the rear is quite stylish, almost coupe-ish. All three brands, all three cars have very different design languages and very different approaches to the electric SUV segments, but they all kind of stand out for what they're designed for. It's a rainy day and we tried our best to shoot these cars, but at the same time, something cool about the Volvo is once you're with the key, there is no start button. So you're like fiddling, oh, where's the start button? But automatically you just have to put it in D and it automatically gets into drive mode. The other things I love about is the topographic sort of design elements on the dash, on the door pads, which kind of light up in the night. That's quite nice. You also get a dustbin. So cool dustbin actually. So you can like move shit out. Electric wireless charging, a nice Google Assistant, and the works. Lack of physical buttons, but overall a nice cushy front seat. So very nice, good seating position, a lot of adjustments. On the back, so the back of the XC40 Recharge is like the XC40 original because this is at the end XC40 with a raised floor height thanks to the batteries below. Legroom is okay, but the front, my feet actually hit the front passenger's seat if you're a taller passenger like me. So you get an electric tailgate and a 413-litre boot space in the XC40 Recharge. You also get a spare wheel, but you also get a frunk in the front. Good for stashing some electric cables or some money that you're going to smuggle. Righty. Let's move on to the EQB. Inside the EQB, this feels more modern, of course, with that split-screen MBUX system where the entertainment sits on the left and the instrument cluster on the right, which is customizable, unlike the Volvo that we sat in, and the graphics are really crisp. Of course, you may need to get a little used to on the touch-sensitive controls. The steering wheel is nice. It's got that AMG-style steering wheel. I also like the all-black interior, complemented by this sort of like rose gold fabric. In terms of comfort, this is a nice front seat to be, but my company is actually on the rear. The EQB backseat suffers from the same disease of EV raised floor, so it's really under-thighed support, and legroom is okay. At least it's not as bad as the XC40, but at the same time, if you ask me, this is not the place to be chauffeur driven. This is great for kids. not for adults more than 5 feet 4 inches, for example. And the rear two seats, which are great for like really small kids or pets, can be used only on those occasions. Otherwise, adults will just be cursing you left, right, center. In terms of boot space, actually that's where it trumps. The EQB 350 also gets an electrically operated tailgate and a boot space of 465 liters, which is pretty usable, a flat loading floor, and the fact that you can carry tall items because of the fact that it's designed with a large opening. Where it actually misses out is the fact that it doesn't get a frunk. Finally, the eTron, which is the only grounds-up EV right now in our group, and it gets charging ports on both sides. That's really cool. The eTron has to be the most luxurious in this group. So you've got a nice splash of wood, nice splash of leather, large cushy seats, and overall it's a nice place to be. It's got understated elegance, got 3 screens. You also get soft closed doors, and because it's a grounds-up EV, a lot of space here. One thing I don't like though is, by habit, I just put my phone there and it just falls, you know. Like, I wish there was like a sort of separator or like a partial self here. You get drive modes in this car, so from all-road efficiency to dynamic, and the gear selector lies under this sort of armrest or like a wrist rest while you're using the climate control buttons here, which I'm not a great fan of. Let's check out the back seat and step inside the back of the eTron, and you won't be forgiven for feeling this has to be the most comfortable seat of many SUVs. Great angle of the lower thigh, nice thigh support, great legroom, headroom, adjustable headrest. I also get window shades or sun shades. So this is a proper chauffeur driven car if you want to use it as that. You also get armrest and climate controls with a screen at the back. The boot space has to be the largest. It actually features a 660 litre boot and at the front as well. Let's check out the front. The front on this car is not the most usable, but still better than the XC40. It's got 50 liters of space, again, for knickknacks, charging cables, and the works.
On your side.
Performance on the XC40 Recharge is sublime because a 0 to 100 comes in just 4.9 seconds thanks to twin motors, one in the front, one in the back, pumping out 402 HP and 660 Nm of torque. And acceleration is, it's just mental, it's relentless. So the driving range on the XC40 Recharge is claimed at 418 kilometers on a 0 to 100% full charge. The battery pack is actually 78 kilowatt hours, which means 0 to 100% charging time is claimed at 8.5 hours if you have 11 kilowatt wall box home charger. In the real world, I'm expecting 350 kilometers of range. Right now, it's showing 83% battery pack left with a 340 kilometer range left. So what it really means is drive sedately, you're guaranteed of 350 plus kilometers, but as a city runabout, this is great. This is just the perfect package in terms of driving styles. The one pedal driving in the XC40 Recharge makes urban driving quite easy. It automatically adjusts the brake force based on the distance of the vehicle ahead. That helps enhance ease of driving and also maximizes efficiency. Infotainment on the XC40 Recharge is pretty advanced, but at the same time, this is the closest you'll get to hands-free operation. For example, hey Google, take me to Salt Restaurant Karjat.
Navigating to Salt Restaurant and Bar.
And it will give me guidance here, mimic the same screen on my instrument cluster so that I don't have to get distracted, or if I'm, say, operating music and I straight switch this, it's pretty cool. In fact, even music. Hey Google, play Barish songs.
Got it. Asking Spotify to play Barish.
So it will recognize that and ask Spotify to play the song. That's amazing. Performance on the EQB 350 is nimble, so 0 to 100 is claimed at 6.2 seconds thanks to twin motors, one in the front, one in the back, 288 brake horsepower and 520 Nm of torque. It's got the torque, but the power figures are quite short of the group test here. In fact, the XC40 trumps this by a mile. The way it builds speed, in fact, it's faster than it actually is. Like, I'm 60 now, I've floored the throttle. It's building speed, but doesn't have, in reality, it's not the same. Driving range is claimed at 423 kilometers, and that's where, with the smaller battery pack of 66.5 kilowatt hour, Merc engineers have managed to carve out, in fact, more range than the others have. Weight is similar, it's almost as heavy as the XC40, but this is a slightly bigger car. It's got more space and more boot space as well. So as a package, it can do both, like sort of intercity runabouts or city runabouts pretty well. 0 to 100% charging times is about 7.5 hours to 8 hours, depending on 11 kilowatt or a 7.5 kilowatt charger at home that you have. Ride quality and ride comfort on the EQB is the good mix, is a good balance between the two. It's comfortable, it's not bone jarring, it's not stiff like the XC40 on sharp bumps. I'm going through a bad patch right now, given bombed out roads during rains, and it's pretty good. It's better than I thought, actually. Infotainment on the EQB, so I get the latest MBUX, I get these two split lovely screens. It feels like a widescreen TV on my smart home, and the gold accents on the sort of the air vents and ambient lighting. So in terms of infotainment, I think this feels the most wow of the lot. But where it lacks is the smartness. So I have a voice assistant. It says, "Hey Mercedes,
how may I help you?
Navigate to Salt Restaurant Karjat."
I'm sorry, can you say that again, please?
So it doesn't get those sort of commands that the Google Assistant does, but you can use it to sort of open the sunroof, change the mood lighting, all those litty bits, you can do that. At the same time, in terms of music, the setup is pretty standard. It sounds great, but this feels the most luxurious of the three in terms of design and the way it's put together. Performance on the eTron 55 is fast but leisurely. In fact, it's one of the most comfortable cars as an EV to be driven on. Also, in fact, it's got the air suspension, but 0 to 100 comes up in just 5.7 seconds thanks to the power figures, which almost match an XC40 Recharge. So 402 HP, 664 Nm of torque, and the driving range on this one is about 484 kilometers. But real world, I don't see it anywhere close to that, because right now I'm at about 80% charge left, and it's showing me a range of 260 kilometers, which is pretty much on the low side compared to the claimed range. Finally, the battery pack is 95 kilowatt hours, and you can charge it from 0 to 100% in about 9.5 hours, just a little more than the XC40 and a little bit more than the EQB. Definitely a car if you want to be transported in utmost comfort while gaining speed. This one is the pick. But wait, soon you'll have the Q8 e-Tron, which is the facelifted avatar of this one. Worth to wait for that. So, infotainment on the Audi e-Tron 55 is pretty crisp and very simple and easy to understand, but not the best to use. I mean, I think there are better options out there. So you get this 10.25-inch instrument cluster, which I can change the view of. I can have a whole map view, I can move around things, and it's very clear and well aligned. I also get these two screens on the center console. So one is a 10.1-inch main infotainment display, and the second being a climate control option, which I think is not the best to use, but my daughter can use it to sort of draw and learn her drawing classes while on a long trip, because it allows you to have inputs in terms of finger drawing inputs. The sound system is pretty nice. There's no "Hey Audi," nothing. "Hey Google," nothing. But you have a button, which is a little archaic. About the infotainment, this can do better, I think, with updates coming up. Definitely, it's not my first choice, but it does the job well. So I don't have a verdict today, but I will say, when you're choosing an e-luxury SUV, you're looking for range, refinement, practicality and prestige. But value was on the top of my list today. The e-Tron is the greatest all-rounder. It's great for chauffeur-driven, it's great for being self-driven, and it's, because of the ride quality, it's simply in a class of its own. But if you're looking for something more glam, something more wow, look at the BMW iX. The EQB, the pick of the segment at about 80 lakh rupees, there's nothing like it. In fact, it's got little or no competition because of the 5+2 seating versatility. At the same time, it's the most compact to be driven. But it is a little pricey at that price point, considering it's fully imported. But the XC40 Recharge, well, it's the fastest accelerating, 0 to 100 in 4.9 seconds. It's got the best voice tech with that Google Assistant. But at 60 lakh rupees, it does make the most e-sense. I'm Roshan Siro here, signing off. Until then, drive safe.